Good evening, everyone, and we don't have any guests yet, so it's okay. Good evening, everyone, and of course, it's a pleasure to be here to give a speech on the human race. But very quickly, I would like to just hand this out to you, some of my props.
It's some spontaneous.
Right. What you have in your hands at the moment is just what came to my mind immediately. What is the human race? So these are the pictures that came to mind, growing up and all the things I've been told, how there's this theory about how we evolved from apes and facts like that. So where did we really come from? Did we really evolve from apes? I mean, look at this picture, this particular one, for example, that you have in your hand. That's the one you see. They're trying to depict the fact that we evolved over millions of years, to become this structure, this stature. Now, if you look at the next one, it's like, I think it's like the updated one for the 21st century. You can see there's this fat bloke there. All of a sudden, it seems that there is a change, transformation, metamorphosis from caveman, ape man, into fat man. That's right. And you can see, but I'm like, no. I used to believe this, but I think this actually undermines the theory in a way. I'm like, come on, are you for real? This is not evolution. This is actually self-harm. Right. First of all, what is race? Race is a social concept used to categorize humans into large and distinct populations or groups by anatomical, cultural, ethnic, genetic, geographical, historical, linguistic, religious, and/or social affiliation. Wow, what a definition! That just simply shows that race is just such a powerful word. I guess it's one of the most complex words in the universe, whereby it just encapsulates so many things. Scientists have always suspected that the concept of racial categories are not reflected in the genetic level. When I talk about genetic levels, not too technical, just referring to the little cells, microscopic cells that make us human. So there's a scientist known as Dr. Craig Venter. He's actually alive. We're privileged to be living in this, the fact that he's still alive. He's one of the pioneers in the study of the human race. He's actually known widely by other scientists as a maverick. He defies convention in the way he approaches his science. He defies the methods. But however, you cannot deny the fact that he's a genius. He's one of the people that transformed biology into what is called digital biology, the DNA. But then again, I mean, to be honest, I think the way it is, that subject matter, most people, you would actually have to do some serious studies, like a degree to actually know the in-depth. That's just the truth. But however, I'm going to be explaining it as simple as possible, because I think we are all members of the human race and we deserve to know what's up with us. So Dr. Venter said race is a social concept, not a scientific one. But the more closely that researchers examine the human genome, again, when it's a human genome, it just has to do with those minute cells in our body that we can see that makes us human eventually. Now, the more they looked at those cells, the more scientists looked at those cells under the microscope, the more most of them are convinced that the standard labels used to distinguish people by race have little or no biological meaning. Dr. Venter announced to the world, I think that was in the year 2000, what a year, the year 2000, that himself and his fellow scientists, they've managed to sequence the entire human genome, which simply means they've been able to sort out those cells that actually make us human, that makes us different from every other creature on Earth. And they unanimously, together with this team of scientists, they unanimously declared that there is only one race after all, and that is what? The human race. The scientists say that those traits most commonly used to distinguish one race from another, like skin and eye color, or the width of the nose, are traits controlled by a relatively few number of genes. What that simply means is that, if you take this strand of hair from each of us here, I don't think I have any at the moment, and you take it to the lab, it will come out with the same profile of genetics, which simply means that we are all fundamentally the same. The only just variation, just diversity, but fundamentally we are biologically the same. So there's another scientist known as Dr. Harold P. Freeman. He's a scientist who studied the use of biology and race. And he said, and I quote, "If you ask what percentage of your genes is reflected in your external appearance, the basis by which we talk about race, the answer seems to be in the range of 0.01%, which of course, you know, is very, very minimal reflection of your genetic makeup." I mean, nowadays there are some postmodern scientists who advocate the use of, just use the word people groups, ethnic groups, community groups, instead of using the word race. Another scientist again, named Douglas C. Wallace, is an expert on genetics, and he once said that, unfortunately, for social harmony, the human brain is exquisitely attuned to differences in packaging details, prompting people to exaggerate the significance of what has come to be called race, though being able to distinguish between or recognize individuals is very useful. What that simply means is that we are naturally attuned to recognize difference. We as humans, we have a proclivity to recognize difference. Of course, the negative consequences, a proclivity for discrimination sometimes, but that's just the way it is. Now, traits like intelligence, artistic talent, and social skills are likely to be shaped by thousands, if not tens of thousands, of the 80,000 or so genes in the human genome, all working together in complex combinatorial fashion. Wow, look at the grammar in that sentence. To be honest, what that simply means is that the scientists have no clue whatsoever what kind of gene constitutes intelligence, artistic talent, and social skills. That means that, and that might be a good thing, you know. So you can say, oh, those two intelligent people are getting married, therefore they're going to give birth to intelligent children. That's not how it works. Probably a good thing. Now, former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill was quoted as saying that if the human race wishes to have a prolonged and indefinite period of material prosperity, they have only got to behave in a peaceful and helpful way to one another. Thank you.